I want to talk to you about survival mode and what that means and how to kind of move beyond this. And the reason I want to talk about that is because in a previous video, I spoke about the importance of spending time just on yourself, on your own growth, and I brought up about moving beyond survival mode and that, but I got a message, and that message was from somebody who was saying, wow, that sure feels like a privilege to be able to say, just get out of survival mode. Their question was like, how? Because for them, they've got, maybe they're just in school or get their first job, whatever, but they don't really have like enough money to even put food on the table. And, this is a very valid point. How do you do it in such a situation? Because I've been like very poor at different points in my life. I've had to make harder choices or gotten too wrapped up in being concerned with, oh, how am I going to pay for things and where's money going to come from? And everything felt unstable and I didn't feel solid. And because I didn't feel solid, it was easy to panic. It was easy to worry a little bit and then start making too many thoughts and decisions around money or around survival kind of things instead of just thinking like, what do I want to do? Well, I want to go fly a kite. Well, I don't have to think about if I can afford to fly a kite. I don't need to think about how much it costs to go fly a kite. I can just go fly a kite. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be about kites. It's just literally anything. But when you move beyond that state of worrying about these things, it's just easier. But again, if you're in a state where if your life is such that you can't focus on those things because you literally have to worry about survival. You literally cannot divide whatever money you have coming in enough to cover all the bills and put food on the table and all the things. Maybe you're a single parent or something, or you have your own parents who are dependent on you, or there's any number of situations. So a lot of people in that situation. So if I'm talking to someone like that, it's almost cruel for me to say, just get out of survival mode, right? So that's why we want to talk about this. And what I would say is this. I don't know your situation, you personally, your specific situation, but I know the situations I've been in, and I know the other people that I've helped with this. And inevitably, if you're in a state where you've got that sense of urgency, of desperation, of, oh, I really need to figure this out, you may get a help from other people out of pity or charity or something like that. And when that happens, in those moments, it's precious. But still the energy that gets put off from this ends up sort of in some ways repelling opportunities or making certain doors close for you. And it feels like life is very difficult. And I don't want that for you. And not only that, it's more stressful for you. It's more difficult. And it's a struggle to keep moving forward every day because your mind's just buzzing. So what I would say is this. You don't need to go spend a bunch of money or go to a yoga studio all the time or something like that. That's not what I would suggest. If that's an option for you, great. As long as it's the right kind of thing that works for you. If it works, it works. But the simplest thing you can do, which is so effective, is to just learn to steal away little moments for yourself. That's really the big secret, right? For not for manifesting what you want, but just for being in a state within yourself where you can actually move forward in a more, let's see. So whenever you're up against a struggle, the more friction there is, the more difficult that situation is. So if you try and apply what I'm going to share with you right now, what worked for me, it's like having a little more lubrication. It just makes the process a little easier, a little more without struggle. And that is everything when you're in that kind of situation, because when you're like this, that you're struggling with the basics, We don't need to add any more stress on top of that. We don't need to make life any more difficult than it already is. So here's how I do things. When I'm at a point where, let's say I'm, there are points where I've been traveling and I didn't have a source of income at all. And I was running low on money and I was starting to panic a little bit because I didn't have enough money and it's not like I could just go home, right? I'm halfway around the world. So at those moments, instead of focusing on money, whenever I focus on that basic stuff, what I need to survive, all that ended up happening was I ended up making my life more difficult and sort of chasing after just survival stuff. It wasn't working that well. I was just stressed out all the time. So instead, if you steal away little moments, it could be the first thing when you wake up. Just take a breath. Really, I know it sounds dumb. It sounds like, yeah, sure, take a breath. I'm breathing every moment. Shut up. But really, if you just breathe, not because some woo-woo kind of thing, not because it's a meme you saw on some Instagram post, but because your mental state and your emotional state are connected to your breath. So use that. Use it on purpose. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing except time. Just taking a few moments. So when you wake up in the morning, set your breath in a calm state, which will help calm your mind. By calming your mind, you're able to see things a little more clearly. By being able to see things a little more clearly, you're able to handle whatever difficulties are coming your way that much easier. And that alone is worth taking that moment to do it. So when you wake up, set your day right the way you want. When you're about to go to work, like before you get out of the car, just, okay, I got this. And then take on the day. You had a stressful morning when you're at the lunch break. Before you go eat your food, I know usually you'll have like a really short lunch break if you even get one at all, depending on your job. I've had those working 24 hours straight kind of jobs before. I know how it is. But still, when you can, just take that moment. It's important. You are important. You're worth investing in yourself. When you go home from work, shake off the day. I'm going home now. And if home's not a peaceful place, all the more reason to take that moment, to have that moment for yourself. Like, this is my moment. It's okay. Tell yourself all is well and you got this. And before you go to bed, again, like take a shower, rinse off the day. Get fresh, and then just sit before you lay down. Just sit for a few minutes. This one little thing can have a massive impact on your life. It's what, if you're not already doing this, you really need to be. It makes such a massive difference. Just taking the moment to get yourself back to a sort of a stable, solid baseline of calm. You need to get back to these calm moments. It's vital. And if you have a little bit more time to invest, I don't know what your situation is, but if you have a little more time to invest, you can do things like, there's a simple pranayama, a breathing exercise you can do. Just with 4 minutes of exercise, it's a noticeable difference. You can tell the difference. And you can learn this for free. I'll link the video in the description below. It's super simple, or I'll post it up there, whatever, both. I'll put it everywhere you need to see it. But this one practice, it doesn't take very long. It's easy to do. And if you just spend a minimum of 4 minutes doing this, huge impact. Just 4 minutes every day. If you do this, you can start having a certain sense of calm and stability in your mental state. But even if you can't invest that, just taking the moment to take a breath, to center yourself, to say, hey, you got this. It's going to be okay. When life is hard, that is what I do, and it works wonders for me. And so I would highly recommend you try this, because I don't want you to struggle any more than you need to. I don't want life to be any more difficult than it sometimes is. Your inside state is all you've got. You are all you've got on the inside. So be there for yourself, and you never know what'll happen. You never know how much easier your life could be just by taking that moment to set yourself right so you can see things clearly, so you can act appropriately, and slowly, step by step, take charge of your life and be however you want to be on the inside, even if you're not able to do what you want on the outside. All right? That's all I got to say on it, and I hope that helps. So I'll see you in the next video.